finding yourself a little bit of space to begin with. And again, when you find your space, you're checking all the floors clear, there's nothing to slip on, nothing to trip on, no dogs to kick, she's out the way at the moment. So we're going to start with our set position. We're going to have our heels placed directly below our hips, our knees nice and soft, and then lots of length up into our spine. So we're going to tuck the chin in and gently draw the chin back towards the throat, so you're aiming to keep your ear and your shoulder in line. Now from here, keeping the upper body nice and still, we're going to come into our pelvic tilts. So it's a little tuck under with the tailbone, so you're almost pointing your hip bones up to the ceiling and then gently down to the floor. So all we're feeling is a little rock through our pelvis. Now as you're starting to work through your lower back, you should feel a mild stretch in your lower back as you tuck your tailbone under. And then as you're tucking your tailbone under, try and breathe out and gently draw your belly button back towards your spine. It's a really small, subtle move, and I know it looks like I'm hardly moving, but I'm working quite hard to get my bum tucked under. So this time as you're going to settle midway between those 2 points, so your hip bones are forward, your tailbone is softly drawn down towards the heels, and that should create a little connection into our tummy. So from here we're going to come to some shoulder rolls as you breathe in, take a little lift, and then breathe out to roll the shoulders back and down. And again, as we're working through our shoulders, we're still trying to keep the trunk of the body as still as possible. So you don't want to feel like your whole spine's moving as you roll the shoulders. Keep the tailbone just gently tucked. Feel the shoulder blades pull right down towards the back pockets. And then again, just using your breath, breathing in as the shoulders lift, and then out to release. So we're going to work today, we're going to focus on some shoulder stability. So the next time you roll your shoulders back and down, we're going to hold the shoulder blades down into the back pockets. We're going to keep our tummy muscles drawn in. And we're going to look to maintain the space between our ear and shoulder. So we're going to come into a single arm float. So we're going to let our right arm come up in line with the shoulder, no higher, and then just ease it back down towards your thigh. You're going to try and breathe out as you lift the arm, and then a breath in as you lower. So again, you're just focused on not letting the ribs lift as the arm lifts. Just before the arm lifts, pin the shoulder blade onto the back of the ribs and try and hold it there as the arm moves. Breathe out with a lift and a breath in to lower. Now still keep the crown of your head pulled up towards the ceiling. We're going to bring the arm out to the side this time. So up in line with the shoulder, draw the shoulder blade back towards the spine, bring it back into the centre and lower down. Again, shoulders pull down, arm floats. It comes out to the side, it comes back into the centre and release. You're breathing out with a lift, breath in to open, out to close, and a breath in to release. Again, out through the mouth, in through your nose, keeping the chest nice and still. And then we're going to turn the head with the arm. So as your head turns, try to get your shoulders really square to the fronts. It's a really simple movement, but quite effective when you're holding all those connections. Now, if you're ready, we're going to add a heel raise. So you can lift the heels as the arm lifts, turn the head with the arm, come back into the centre, and then lower everything down. So the out breath on the lift, the in breath to open, out breath to close, and a breath into release. Again, your tailbone is tucked under, your ribs are softly down towards the hips. And then next time, when we lift the arms, we're going to lift both arms together, and we're going to alternate the arms at the top. So this time as you lift, you're going to hold both arms at shoulder height. Breathe in, open the arm. Breathe out to close. Breath in, opening the left arm. Out breath to close. And a breath in to release. Now just checking your heel raise. When you lift your heels, you're trying to keep your ankles the same distance apart at the bottom and at the top of your heel raise. So what you don't want to happen is your ankles to roll outwards like this. We're trying to keep the knees in line with the toes. We're trying to keep our tailbone tucked under and the chest nice and still. We're going to do that just one more time, breathing out with a lift. Breath in, let the head turn, keep the hips square to the front. And again, breathe in to open the arm. Breathe out to close. And a breath in to release. Let's come to tandem stance next. We're going to find our balance. Bring your right foot, in front of your right. Your big toe touches the very centre of your heel, and you've got all 10 toes pointing forwards. If this feels too wobbly, just simply place your big toe next to your heel, so your base is a little bigger. Now, once you're here, just tuck under your tailbone, let your hands rest, and let your weight come even into both feet. Shoulder blades roll down, and then the arms lift. Now, as you breathe in, you're going to open the arms, one to the hip, one by the ear, and then breathe out to close. Breath in as we open. Keeping the crown of your head pulled upwards towards the ceiling. And as you're moving the arms, you're trying not to let your body move. So if you push the hips forward and flare the ribs, you're lengthening your abdominals, so they're not engaging and working to keep your neutral spine. So try and resist the arm movement. Keep the knees nice and soft. Breathe in to open, out to close. Once more each side, keeping the shoulder blades drawn back down into the ribs. And then arms in line with the shoulders and change legs. So your left foot now steps in front of your right. Tuck under with the bottom again, so your hip bones are forward. And I just want you to stand here. And close your eyes if you can. So once you feel your balance with your eyes closed, if you don't like having your eyes closed, keep them open. If you can, bring the arms back to shoulder height, eyes staying closed or open. Breathing in to open the arms, and breathing out to close. And by closing your eyes, you'll feel all those deeper muscles working a lot harder to keep your balance. Now, if you feel too wobbly, just simply open the eyes. Keep gently tucking the tailbone under. And always draw your shoulder blades right down to the back of the ribs. And we're going to do that again, just once more on each side. So try and breathe out now as you open the arms. Slow breath into centre. And again, breathing out to open. And a breath into centre. Lower the hands and step your feet back under your hips. So again, from here, nice and soft through your knees. Back into your neutral, so your tailbone is tucked. Shoulders are down and both arms to shoulder height. Breathing in to a rotational move and breathing out to come forwards. So the breath is in through the nose as you draw back and out through the mouth as you come back into the centre. So what we're trying to do is mobilise the spine but find the stability through the hips. So if you literally imagine you've been set in concrete, there's no sway, there's no rocking through the legs. You're using those deeper muscles to hold everything nice and still. You're letting the head turn if it feels comfortable. But you're keeping your chin tucked in, so your eye gaze goes in a really straight line from one side of the room all the way around to the other. Now this time, as you open, you're going to hold. You're going to reach the arm back and then close. Breathe in to pull back and then breathe out to close. Now when the arms come forward, try and make sure your shoulders don't come forward of your ears. You're trying to keep them stacked right above the hips. And again, simple breath in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. And once more to the opposite side. And then float the arms down. Release the shoulders. Stay in our set position. We're going to go to a side bend, just to our right first of all. So you can either keep your hands here, your first position, or you can bring your left hand towards your head, pulling the shoulder back and down, and tucking your tailbone under. And just relax the knees. As you breathe in, slide your hand down towards your right knee. And then breathe out, come back into the centre. So you're just avoiding pushing your hips to the side as you bend. So you want to notice that as you bend to your right, your left heel stays really firm on the ground. If you feel the hip foot lifts, the hips will also move. So work on your tuck. Use the in-breath, point the elbow to the ceiling. Now breathe out slowly, right back to the top of your movement. So each time you just want to make sure we come back into a set position. Chin nodded in, back of your neck nice and long. And the in breath to reach a little deeper. And then the out breath as you rise. Aware your left shoulder, still connecting down towards the back of your ribs. Let's do that once more on this side. A nice gentle movement into the spine. And then you can rest. You can bring your left hand down. Give your shoulders a little release. Pull the shoulder blades down to the back of the ribs. Soften your knees and reach at the bottom. Then bring your right hand up. Draw the shoulder down. Breathe in when you're ready to slide your hand down your thigh. And breathe out when you're ready to rise. So we try to lose the momentum, so we're not coming down and back up. We're trying to stretch down here. As we reach the knee, you feel a lengthening through your waist. You then use those muscles to pull the ribs back in line with your hips. So if you imagine your hips being your anchor and having to stay really, really still, and then imagine you've got an elastic band here, and as you bend, it stretches, it stretches, it stretches, and then you're going to pull on that elastic band to pull your ribs back towards your hips. So again, your in breath to ease down, and your out breath to rise. It's very gentle this morning. And then resting in the centre. Bring both hands down. Again, you might want to just release the shoulders. Let's take our feet just a little bit wider. So your heels are just outside your hip sockets, not outside your hips. Now from here, ideally, all 10 toes pointing forwards. What we're looking for is making sure the knee tracks in line with the toe. So if you need to, you may feel you have to turn your toes out a tiny bit just to keep the knees tracking. So once you're in your set position, tailbone is tucked under, abdominals are drawn in. As we breathe in, we're going to lead back with the hips, your hands stop by your knees, your tailbone is still tucked, and then you're going to breathe out and lift both arms. Breath in, and then push through the heels, and your hips come forward. Hips move first, back, back, tuck the tailbone a little more if you need to, and as the arms rise, keep your shoulder blades pulled down into the back of the ribs. So what we're trying to maintain is that neutral spine all the way through. Try not to look forwards. You want to keep your chin nodded in. So when you come into your squat, you're not looking forward because it'll make it arch your back and into your neck. You want that nice alignment all the way through. Now we're going to alternate the arm floats. At the bottom, we're going to lift both arms, draw the tummy in, and just simply scissor the arms. One lifts, excuse me, one lowers, back in line with the shoulders, and then push through the heels. So if you remember when we did the arm floats at the beginning, we were working to keep the shoulders down. We're not allowing the ribs to flare as the arms lift. And each time back in your set position. Breathing in. Breathe out, open the arms. Breath into centre. Breathe out to open. Breath into centre. And then breathe out to rise. If it feels comfortable, you can allow your hips to go a little bit lower, but your bottom never lower than your knees. If I could only get that far, it'd be a problem. So again, as you're here, draw the tummy nice and tight, set the shoulders down, just allow the arms to open. And you're aiming to bring your arm just in front of your ear if you can. But if that makes the back arch, then reduce that movement to where you feel your spine stays really, really still. I think one more should just about do it. So you'll notice that as we work slowly, there's a lot more work to do for all those deeper muscles. And then push through the heels and shake your legs. So from your set position here, you're going to take your heel out and then your toe, and your opposite heel and your toe. I want you to almost corkscrew your heels into the floor. So when you look down, your big toe should be inside of your knees rather than your knees rolling in. Tuck under your tailbone, lengthen up through your spine. Let's go for our wide squat. Try and keep your back upright, breathing in, out to lift the arms. Turn your head to the right, into the centre, over to the left, into the centre, weight in your heels, push the heels into the floor and squeeze the bottom. Breathe into lower, out with the lift. Slow breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Breathe in to lower the arms, and then breathe out to rise. So we should feel more connection into our bottom as we keep pressing the knees out nice and wide. And always glancing and checking your knees are in line with your toes. Push down through both heels evenly and head back up towards the ceiling. Oh, that's the thigh warmer. Now try and keep that back nice and long. When you turn your head, keep the chin just slightly nodded in. So you've got that nice line all the way around the room. And I think one more might be enough. If it's not enough for you, you can just carry on. Keep gently pressing the knees outwards towards your little toes. Slowly lower the arms and then push through your heels. Bring your legs in. So we might need a little stretch to our quads next. And we do that with a lunge, I'm afraid. So in our lunge position, you start with your feet under your hips. We're going to stay in a split lunge. We're going to take our right leg back. Now when you take your leg back, don't step directly behind the front foot because you'll be really wobbly. Take your feet about shoulder width apart. Tuck under your tailbone. So when you're here, you've got that nice long spine, your shoulders are stacked above your hips and your chin is tucked in. We're going to breathe in, lower your right knee, pull your left arm back, reach to the back of the room, come into the centre, and then rise. So again, from the front, we breathe in, your right knee bends, your left arm pulls back, you're going to open to the back of the room, bring the arm back into the centre, and then lower the arms. Now, if that extra movement of reaching behind is too much, just bring the elbow to here, and then you can come back to here, and then push it through the heel to rise. What we're looking for now is a stretch through that right thigh. So keep tucking under with the bottom and lead down with the back knee. So when you're here, the stretch is right down the front of your thigh. Then as you're moving the arms, you can keep your legs as still as possible. A little bit of shaking is allowed though. That's when you know you're having to really work hard. And one more time. Keep the weight pressing down through your front heel. And when you rise, push that front heel down into the floor, and this time you can step forward. Sorry, but you've got the other leg to do. So your left leg takes that long step back. Feet hip width, hips square to the front, and your shoulders set. Tailbone ever so slightly tucked to begin with. And then when you're ready, breathe in. Lower the back knee and lift the arms. Draw the right elbow back. You can reach to the back of the room, and then close into the centre, and come back up tall. So the breath in. Breathing out. Breath into the centre, and breathe out with your eyes. So we come in through our nose, out through the mouth, breath in through your nose, and then again out through your mouth. Reach up the bottom. So again, if you're not feeling that stretch, maybe start to tip forward. So you can keep the shoulders above the hips. Lead with the back knee. So you don't want to feel that your front knee goes first, because then your weight bear into that front knee. The more you keep that front knee still and over the heel, the more we're going to strengthen the stability around the knee. So not sliding into that front leg. It's not easy to see from the front. Again, don't let that knee go forward. It's the in breath, out breath, in breath, and out breath. I think one more should do it on this leg. And then push through the front heel, step in. Legs can definitely have another shake. We're going to work our way down to the floor next. In your own time, come down to your mat and just come into a seated position for a second while I show you your pleasure that's coming next. Okay there. Let me move that a little further forward. That's better. Okay, so from here, have a look. We're still going to look at that shoulder stability. We're going to come into a box position. Once we're in our box position, all we're going to do is allow the ribs to sink down. Then you're going to push through the hands, so you almost feel like your shoulder blades come back in contact with the back of your ribs. You're going to sink, and then we're going to lift. So when you're ready, come into your box position, hands under your shoulders, knees directly below your hips, and lengthen your spine. Draw the shoulder blades down to the back of the ribs, and soften your elbows. Now breathe in, just let your chest sink to the floor, and then breathe out, push up from the floor. So again, a little breath in, let your chest sink, and then breathe out, push through the hands. So you should feel when you push your hands into the floor, it really helps to set that strong position for your upper back. And then we're going to use that position because we're going to hold here, keeping shoulder blades sat on the back of your ribs, and we're going to work with single arms. We're going to breathe in, reaching your right arm forward, thumb to the ceiling. Breathe out to lift the arm. Breath in, hand under your shoulder, and breathing out to release. So you're going to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, and then out through the mouth. Now what we're looking for is when you change from one arm to the other, you're not letting your shoulders collapse. So you're going to really push into this hand to help keep your shoulders level as you add the arm. And again, working slowly to maintain your control. And keep gently drawing the shoulder blades away from the ears, especially when the arm comes forward. Let's do that twice more on each side. If you need to have a rest, just take a rest. But if you're feeling that's a little bit easy, maybe you've got more weight in your knees and you can bring your body weight forwards. When you feel your body weight shift forward, you'll feel your core has to work just a little bit harder. Try and keep supporting elbow soft. Push the hands into the ground. This is your last one. And then you can just simply sit back onto your heels. Walk the hands forward. Allow your chest to sink to your thighs. And if it feels okay, let the head come down. Take a nice big breath in. And as you breathe out, walk your fingers forward. Try and take a little grip of the ground. So you're pressing your fingers into the floor, and you'll feel how that helps to increase your stretch. Now from here, we're going to come to a lying position. We're going to face down to the floor. So you're going to come forwards, and just one descending press up, all the way down. Give myself a little bit of space. Okay, so we're just going to work on a leg pattern, and we're going to make sure we get the right muscles doing the work, and then we're going to come back into that box position. So having a look, what we're going to do from here, we're going to allow our head to rest. Now, when we lift the leg, if we lift a bent leg, our hamstrings are working that movement, and the glutes are really relaxed. So what we're going to do from here is just start with your right leg. Squeeze your right thigh so your kneecap lifts off the ground, and then squeeze the bottom to lift a straight leg. And then lower your foot and relax your knee. Left knee, squeeze the front of your thigh. Now squeeze the bottom to lift. Release the leg. Now pause. This time, gently draw your tailbone back towards your heels. Feel like your belly button's just gently lifted off the ground. And this time when you lift your leg, try not to push your belly into the floor. So your knee lifts first, you squeeze the bottom to lift a straight leg, and your leg shouldn't come very high. Because if it comes too high, all you'll do is push your belly into the floor. So even though we're lying down, we're starting to work those deeper muscles, keep our spine in this neutral position. Now just focus on your hips. If when you lift your leg, your hips roll to the side, again, you're going too high. Draw the belly button up. Squeeze the thigh, squeeze the bottom of the leg raise, relax the foot, and then relax the knee. So we're going to take this to alternating legs next, still using that squeeze down the front of your thigh. So you're going to squeeze your right thigh, draw your tailbone down to your heels, and lift your right leg. Squeeze your left thigh, and then alternate the legs. Now you're going to feel like your tailbone is constantly drawing down towards the heels. You're trying not to let the hips rock from side to side. And if you imagine you have a little egg placed underneath your belly button, and you're trying to keep that egg really safe as your legs move. So you've got to keep pulling your belly button softly up towards the spine. Couple more on each side. And then you can rest the legs down. Now, if you do have issues kneeling, you can do the next block of work lying here. And what we're going to do in the kneeling position is a leg raise, heel into the bottom, toes extend, and then we lower the leg down. So your option is to stay here. If not, we're going to come back onto our hands and our knees. We're going to place the hands under the shoulders and spread your fingers really wide so you've got a nice strong base. Bring your weight into your hands and roll the shoulders back. Start with your right leg. Slide your toe back, keep the belly lifted. Now squeeze the bottom to lift. Bring your heel into the bottom. Point your toe on the extension, lower the foot, and then bring the knee in. So your breath in, out to lift. Breath in, heel to bottom. Out breath, extend. Breath in to release, and your out breath to reset the knee. So lengthen, breath in, out to lift. Breathe in, out to extend. Breath into lower, and out to center. And each time just try and make sure you bring your knees right back underneath the hips. This time just reset your neutral position to draw the tailbone towards the heels just a tiny bit, keeping the belly button lifted up towards your spine. And when you bring your heel to your bottom, try not to let the knee drop. So you're trying to keep the leg high, bringing the heel in so your thighs parallel to the floor still, and then lowering back into center. Now from here, we're going to keep the knee bent. Hold, bend your knee and flex your foot, so your heels to the ceiling. Breathe in, let the knee drop to the floor a little, and then breathe out, push it up to the ceiling. So again, pressing down through the hands, so we're keeping that stability through our shoulders. Drawing the belly button up towards the back, and squeezing the bottom to press it with the heel. Now try and keep your foot so it's flat to the ceiling. If you've got a tray balance on your foot and you're trying to keep it really level on that push. 4 more. Breathe in. Breathe out to push. Press through the hands. Draw up through the belly. And then when you finish your last one, extend the leg. And then draw the knee back in and have a rest. Sit back. Just a little release for your wrists. So just take your wrists in circles, going in one direction, and then take them in the other direction. One leg down, one to go. Bring the weight forward again. So you might find here you start to hunch your shoulders to hold this position. So your back's not in the best position there posturally. Draw the shoulder blades back. If the back's arching, pull your belly up away from your t-shirt and hold it just a little closer towards your spine. Left leg this time. Slide, lift, heel in, toes out, toe to floor, and knee back in. Now you imagine that you're balancing a tray on your bottom this time. It's got lots of champagne glasses on there. What else would it have on there? And really full to the top. So when you're moving your leg, you're trying to keep that tray of drinks balanced all the way through, not spilling a drop. It's very expensive champagne. Obviously not mine. Mine would be a vodka. Or maybe 2. So keep pressing into the hands. Keep lifting up through the belly and aim to get that really straight leg each time. So by straightening the leg, it helps to get length down the back of your knee joint and gives a little stretch into the hamstrings too. Again, if it's feeling easy, just take your weight a little further forward. So you're almost poking your nose past your fingers. Okay, we've got that one more move. So this time as you come to the top, you're going to hold the leg here, bend the knee and flex the foot, so you're going to stamp the heel on the ceiling. Heel in on the ceiling, drop the knee, squeeze the bottom. Draw the belly up now. Press down into the hands. So you don't want to feel that as your leg pushes up, your back moves. We're working for that stability to the trunk of your body. And then that's going to make sure the glutes do the work rather than the back. Press the heel up, breathe into release, out to push, into release. 3 more, 2, then everybody spilt their champagne. And then extend your leg out, toe to floor, knee in, sit all the way back to the heels. Walk the fingers forward again, and just encourage the hips down towards the heels. Now from here, we're going to stay with the back of the body. So we're going to come forward and take a lie down. So you're going to gently bring your weight forward into your hands and work your way back to the floor. You need to slide back. We're going to start with the elbows out in line with our shoulders. Now try not to have the elbows high, because then your shoulders will move towards your ears. So pull the shoulder blades back. Keep the arms wide so your fingertips point forward, and then draw your tailbone back to your heels. Now you can rest the head on the floor to begin with. You've got your little egg back underneath your belly button. You're going to breathe in. When you're ready to breathe out, lift the head and your right arm, keeping the right arm parallel, and then a breath in to release. Now try not to be tempted to look forward when you lift. We're not trying to get the work in the neck. We're trying to get the work through our mid-back and our upper back. Now some people will find this a lot harder than others. Depends on your posture to begin with. And again, it's a work in progress, so don't force yourself up too high. Keeping the chin nodded in. And have a feeling of lengthening. So you're pulling the crown of your head forward, you're drawing your tailbone back towards your heels, and you're trying to maintain that lengthened feeling as you lift. Now I think you might be ready to add back in the legs. So we're going to work with the opposite arm and leg. Remember, squeeze your thigh first, and then lift the opposite arm and the leg. Slowly. Breathe in to ease down. And again, breathe out, squeezing the opposite thigh. And trying to keep your little egg safe. So don't press your tummy into the ground. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. Breathe in through the nose to lower. Breathe out through your mouth with the lift. And once more on each side. Then we're going to get the shoulders involved a little bit more. Have a rest. So again, you can rest your head all the way down. We're going to take our hands back and turn our palms up to the ceiling. Now again, you've got your tailbone drawn to the heels very slightly, and your belly button just lifting away from the ground. We're going to lift our head, but we're going to keep our legs and our bottom relaxed. So if you struggle to keep your bottom relaxed, just take your feet a little wider and let the heels roll outwards. That's going to stop the glutes being as active. Now from here, when you're ready to lift, you're going to use the out breath. You're going to lift your chest, and then you're going to turn your palms right into the ground so your shoulder blades squeeze together. And then you're going to breathe in and ease back down. You're breathing out through the mouth, lengthening through the back of the neck, and a slow breath in to release. Is your bottom staying relaxed as you lift? If it's not, don't lift quite as high, because we want to get the muscles through the back doing the work, the extension, the lift, and then squeezing the shoulder blades together at the top. Now we're just going to go with 2 more here. If you've had enough of any exercise, you know by now you can take a rest. If you want to take that rest, take it now. If you want to stay with me, Lift the chest, turn your palms and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Reach the arms forward, just in line with the ears, back towards your thighs, and then release. So again, turn your palms to the floor, tuck in your chin, keep the arms long as they reach forward. Now, it might not all come all the way forward. You might feel just bringing the arms out in line with the shoulders is enough. Breathe out strongly. Take a breath in. Breathe out, pull the arms back. Turn your palms and release. Make sure you're squeezing your shoulder blades together to turn the palms to the floor. Try and maintain that little squeeze through the shoulder blades as the arms come forward. And then turn your palms up and release. Let's do one last one. Still keeping the bottom relaxed. Still pulling the shoulder blades down to the back of the ribs. And then releasing. We're going to take a cat stretch. Hands by your ribs, squeeze the elbows in. Push yourself up off the ground. Bring your knees in under your hips. Now keep your ribs still. Tuck under your tailbone. Feel a stretch in your lower back and then let it roll into your mid back. Then rolling through to your upper back as you look towards your thighs. And again, breathing in and just allowing your back to arch, letting your chest lift and pressing into the hands at the same time. So we've got all that stability through our shoulders and we're just stretching through each vertebrae. And just because that feels really nice after all that back extension, we'll do it one more time. So from your tailbone tuck, draw the belly button up, nodding your chin, and then come midway between those 2 points. Come onto your bottoms when you're ready. Oh, we've got time for a little bit more torture. So your feet hip distance apart. From here, we're going to come into a nice upright position. Now, if you've got a bad back and you just want to stay with that mobility part of the exercise, just come into a C shape and then come forwards. If you've done these before and you feel comfortable with these, what we're going to do is add the arms forward to begin with. We're going to roll back, reach the arm out to the right, into the centre, out to the left, into the centre, and then breathe out to come forwards. So you're breathing in, out, in, breathe out, in, and now breathe out to rise. You can rest your hands down between each one if you want a little rest. As you draw the arm back, let your nose follow your thumb. Hands can come to thighs for a little help to come forwards. Always, when you start to roll back, tuck the tailbone under. So here, you don't want to have a straight back, because that's going to load those back muscles. You want to tuck under the bottom, so you're engaging here and keeping the body as still as possible as you work with the arms. And the breath, it helps. Slow breath in, keep your eye gaze forward, breathe out, and then breathe in. And as you come forward, breath out, roll through the chest and lengthen through your spine. Couple more. As you draw the arm back, try not to let the ribs pull away from your hips. So when you're in the C-shaped position, you've squashed your square, you're holding that squash, and you're just resisting the movement of the arm. And then your hands come to your thighs, you come forward and you slump. Just a little slump. Gently draw the belly button towards the spine. Let the chin tuck in so you're feeling the stretch in your neck. And then come up into a seated position and just extend your legs out in front. Nice release, nice stretch through the glutes, lower back, and maybe about towards your shoulder, let's see. Your right leg comes over your left. Now it can stay by your ankle. You can pull it a little closer up towards your knee. But what you're looking for is keeping your right buttock pressed on the floor. So imagine you've got a big blob of blue tack and you're going to stick your bum down and you're going to keep it there. You're going to open your left arm, wrap it around the knee, lift the chest up, and gently turn your chest to the right. If you want to increase that stretch, you can bring your arm to the back of your thigh and use the arm as a lever to help you get more rotation. If your back's having to arch, ease the leg off, work on keeping a straight back and twisting with a length in your spine. If you want to just turn your head and look back over your shoulder, and then come back into the centre and just change your legs. So your left foot now comes over your right, glute at your bottom to the floor, lift the chest up, and then wrap the arm. Left hand just on the floor behind your bottom. Push into the floor and try and lengthen up through your spine and gently turn into your chest. To deepen that stretch, you can bring the arms to the back of your thigh and gently press against the thigh to turn a little further. Now as you breathe in, let the ribs lift a little higher so your back becomes longer, and use the out breath to deepen that stretch. And then a breath in and release everything. Slide your feet back. Try and bring the soles of your feet together, and you can just gently press down with the knees. Just hold in this position, might be enough for the stretch through the hips, or you can gently draw the heels back towards your thighs. Now from here, you might feel that your backs have to curve to get into this position. So I want you to be in a position with your legs where you can keep the chest up. So if that means moving your legs forward, that's fine. You can gently press the knees down just to open the hips. And we can take a little reach forward. So you can breathe in, reach forward. And then breathe out, come back. So again, just reach down, forward. I think somebody knows what time it is. And then restack. And a couple more. So again, just reach as far as you comfortably can. And then pull back up to the centre. One last time. Breathing in. And then breathe out, just restack. And then let's come back onto our hands and knees and work our way back up. Knees on the hips, hands on the shoulders. And then when you're ready, you're just going to tuck your toes under, walk your hands back, and then roll on to your heels. Gently lifting the hips, but keeping the knees bent. And then slide your hands back to your toes, or elbows onto your thighs. Try and knock the chin in, so again, the length of the neck. And draw the belly button up to the spine. And if you feel like you can take a little bit more stretch down the back of the legs, just start to straighten the legs a little bit more, not forcing the knees back, but just feeling that stretch coming into the back of the knee joint. Try and look back between your thighs and let the head just hang. Then take a nice big breath in. Bend your knees, and with the out breath, it's a slow restack through your spine. One vertebrae at a time. As you roll through your mid-back, your head then lifts, and the shoulders get to roll back and down. And then from there, just breathe in, lift the arms, press up to the ceiling, lift your ribs right off your hips, and then just pull the shoulders back and down. Little twist release to your right, keep your hips square, and then twist to your left. Anchor down through the heels so the hips don't rotate, and we're just releasing the back. And again, once more, each side. And then from there, you can rest in the centre, lift the shoulders up, and then go. And once more, breathing in and out. Well done, everybody. Give yourselves a clap. Good work, everybody. Well done. So again, I am recording these classes, and I will upload them